Okay, let's start, Barry. I can't say welcome to Namibia because it's not your first time. So tell us about your experience in Namibia.
So definitely not my first time. I've been coming to this wonderful country for a number of years. I think I first came to Namibia maybe 25 years ago. When I was in the corporate world, before I started my training business, and then I've been coming here regularly for 3 or 4 years. I've been blessed to travel pretty much the whole country. And I think it's a beautiful country, and you have a unique people. I love the fact that it's a small population.
Yes.
Big country.
Yes.
Lots of opportunity.
And lots can be done.
Huge. Yes. I think there's massive opportunities.
Yes, I think Namibians are teachable.
Yeah. So, I teachable, and in my experience, most Namibians are eager to learn.
Yes, I think that is probably the better phrase, eager to learn. Yes, yeah. Which is a very good thing because,
So the question is what do they want to learn? That's the question, isn't it, I suppose?
Also true. But you've actually addressed our staff this morning on sort of mental resilience.
Yeah.
And a big thing for me was that you started off with, do you want to be here? Are you physically here? Are you mentally here? Because it doesn't help to just be physically here and mentally not. Can you tell us a little bit why is it so important to be at a gathering both physically and mentally?
Yeah, so maybe Patty, I'll use this example. Have you ever found yourself arriving at a place and not actually remembering how you got there?
A lot of
times. So you drive to work.
Yes.
Well, and the reason that happens is because on our journey we're not present.
Yes.
We know where we're going. We just expect that that's where we're going. So we just arrive and we're not actually present.
Yes.
And I think what I observe with a lot of people in the world is they are physically in places, but they're not actually mentally and emotionally there. So they're in the space, but they're not actually present. And so when it comes to personal development and growth, I believe that the ability to be present, to be in a place, in the words of a guy called Eckhart Tolle, he wrote a book called The Power of Now, and he talks about being in the now. Can you live in the now? Like right now, I'm here. I'm with you. I'm not thinking about what am I doing this afternoon? What am I doing tomorrow? What time is my flight on Friday? I'm not thinking about all those things, because if I am thinking about all those things, I'm not here. And if I'm not here with you now, then I'm disrespecting you.
Yes.
If you are here with me now and I'm not here with you, I'm here physically, but I'm not here mentally, then what's the point of even being here?
But that brings me to the workplace. So a number of people, and sometimes I think all of us do it at one stage or another, where we're physically at work, but our minds are somewhere else. And I find that more and more people attend work physically, but not because they want to be here, but because they need a salary.
Yeah.
And what does it do to a person's well-being if they do things like that on a regular basis?
Well, I can imagine that it can't be that fulfilling. You know, how many people are actually going through life? Have you ever heard of an author called Og Mandino?
No.
So Og Mandino is he probably wrote his books in the, I don't know, in the time that the likes of Norman Vincent Peale and those type of people were around. And Og Mandino wrote a number of books. His most famous book was The Greatest Salesman That Ever Lived. But he wrote an amazing book called The Greatest Miracle There Ever Was. And what Og Mandino said is, he said in his belief, the greatest miracle was the resurrection. So the resurrection of Jesus Christ.
Yes.
He says anyone, whatever your belief is, he says anyone that comes back from the dead, there's no other miracle like it.
Yes.
He says, and when you look in the world of people and human beings every day, he said, every day people are being resurrected, but they're being resurrected from what he calls the walking dead. People that get up and do what they do because that's what they do, go home, go back to work, go home, back to, and they live their life by just doing it because their mindset is, I have to do it, so I'm just going to do it.
Yes.
But they don't do it with the passion and the enthusiasm and the excitement that we've been given with the beingness of being there.
Yes.
And something happens. I don't know, they come on a course or they come to a talk like I did this morning. And maybe one person out of the talk this morning will go, man, something hit me. And suddenly from tomorrow and the next day, you're going, what happened to that guy? And they suddenly they suddenly found life.
Yes.
And what he says is, he says, people go from the walking dead to resurrecting themselves, and suddenly they find the spark of life. And I think people get so stuck in just doing what they think they have to do because that's what they have to do, and they can't see an end out of it, or they don't find an end out of it, and then we lose passion.
Yes.
And then life becomes mundane, and then we lose presence. Get very stuck. Yes. Yeah, I think stuck is the right word. Yeah. How many times have you been stuck in your life?
Many times.
Yeah, we get stuck, and we like how. But if it's like driving a vehicle. If you don't actually get out of the vehicle,
yes,
observe where you're at. Be present enough to have a look under the car to find out why the wheels are stuck, and then go find something to unstick you. Well, guess what? You're going to sit in your bucky
the whole day.
Keep pressing the accelerator, and you're going to be spinning, and you're getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
So you have to get out, and you have to look at your life, and you have to become present within that space to get unstuck. No one said it's going to be easy, is it though, Patty? Because when you're stuck out in the bush here, and you're deep in sand, it could take hours to get out of there, but you've got to find wood and sticks and pieces of material, and eventually you'll get out of there if you keep working at it. And I think that's also why people get stuck, because it appears to be way harder to get out of being stuck than it is actually just to stay stuck.
I was going to say, so being stuck is the brain sense of the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
But if you have to give something to the audience to say one thing that you can do to become unstuck, what would that be?
So I think the first thing, acknowledge where you're at.
Okay.
Okay, so acknowledge where you're at. If you're happy with the results you are getting in life, then don't change.
Okay.
But if you're unhappy with where your life is, or where it's got to, or where it's going, then change. Because only you can make that change.
Yes.
You know, a friend of mine taught me something. He said, people will only change when the pain of their circumstances exceeds the pain of change.
Yes.
But you have to acknowledge that my circumstances are painful. So what I've learned to do in life is I create painful circumstances for myself. I want to change and I want to grow. So I commit to doing things that scare me, or I commit to doing things that I know are going to be tough. And then I do them because it forces me to change.
Yes.
So what happens is people take themselves out of that because the pain of doing that it's much easier to actually just stay where I am.
Sure, that is where this whole new year things come from. I want to do this, and this is what I'm going to do, and then...
And how many people stick to those?
Oh, well, you look at statistics.
New Year's revolutions.
Yes, yeah. Yes.
That no one ever revolutionized.
Yeah.
Because
you don't see pain, so you won't change. And
100%.
Because change is so difficult.
Yeah, change is difficult.
Yes.
However, it's a constant, isn't it? We're always changing. You and I have just become 5 minutes older.
That's also true.
I know we don't look like 5 minutes older, and we are young, but...
Yes. Yeah, a big focus of yours is unlocking greatness. And you focus a lot on salespeople. So if we look at unlocking greatness in salespeople, salespeople are there because they want to make a living. That's why they're salespeople. But you made an interesting comment this morning about in businesses, we actually, we're not always that successful because every day there's a new opportunity. So if we fail one day, we just tell ourselves, tomorrow we can try again.
Yeah.
So how can salespeople, how can we in the sales world become more effective in doing what we need to do?
So I think that the first thing when it comes to salespeople per se is understand what the game of sales really is. I think many salespeople don't really understand what sales is. They have a job in sales, but do they really understand what it is to be a salesperson? Do they really understand the skills? I'll give you this. I got kicked out of home and I was told find a job. So I went and found a job. And guess what I found?
Sales.
I became a sales rep. Why? What does any self-respecting failure become? We become a sales rep because it's one of the only jobs that you can become where you don't need
A piece of paper.
So I went from going to an interview to getting a job to be giving a business card that said I'm a sales rep. What did I know about selling, Patty?
It depends on what you define as sales.
But reality is not much.
Yes.
But I went from not being a salesperson to getting a job in sales, being given a business card saying I'm a salesperson.
Yes, that's all.
Would you go to a doctor that wasn't a doctor yesterday, but went to an interview today, got given a business card and said I'm a doctor?
No.
So one of the biggest problems I see in sales is most people don't see sales as a profession. They see sales as a job where I get paid a salary.
Yes.
And too many salespeople move jobs not because they need to find something better to sell, because someone offered them a better salary.
Yes.
I got to the stage in my life, I'll never need a job. And there's nothing wrong with having a job. But I'll never need a job because I learned to sell. And what I learned is I can rock up at any business and say, if I sell for you, will you pay me commission? I don't need a salary. I don't need a car allowance. I don't need a cell phone allowance. But what I want is an access to product or service that I can sell that allows me to generate money. So my belief is the more salespeople actually understand that sales is a profession, not a job. The job is the vehicle that allows us to do it.
So in simple terms, if you are a professional salesperson, you will go to a business to say, I'll sell this for you, and not ask for a salary first, because the salary will follow.
So, as a guy called Red Motley said this, he said, nothing happens until a sale is made. Okay. Our job in sales, and I'm a salesperson by heart. I've been in sales for 32 years. Our job in sales is to generate income into the business. That is our job. Oh. If we are not generating income, we are not doing our job, and we shouldn't be in our job.
Yes.
So
that's an important concept. If you don't generate income, you shouldn't be there.
Well, what's your job?
Yes. Yeah.
So the core concept of sales is sales equals income, income equals life. Yeah. The lifeblood of a business depends on the income that we bring in. If in sales we're not bringing in income, how do we pay salaries?
So what is the foundation of being a salesperson?
So that's a great question. The foundation of a salesperson, first of all, is understanding what it is to sell.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So my concept of selling, and I learned this from a guy called Alan C. Walters, and I talk in my book, A Salesman's Journey. By the way, this is a gifted copy for you.
Thank you very much.
And I've recently launched this. I talk about this concept of a salesperson is somebody who finds out what other people want and helps them get it.
So it's supply and demand.
Yeah. So if you have a problem in your life,
yes,
and I can come and sit down with you and find out, say, Patty, what's your problem? And you say this is a problem, and I can say to you, Patty, if I can solve the problem, would you be prepared to pay for the solution?
Yes.
If you can connect the two things together, I can make money.
Yes.
One of the biggest problems I see with salespeople are not out there looking for how they can solve somebody else's problem. They're looking how they can solve their own problem. Their own problem is, I need commission. So you must take what I want you to take so I can make money. Now, what Alan C. Walters said, Alan said this, he said, a salesperson's job is to find out what people want and help them get it so that you increase their success, prosperity, and happiness. Not yours.
Yeah. It is actually sort of the end in mind for you to be successful.
100%.
Yes.
So
yes.
if I'm a salesperson and I'm selling something to you and it increases your success, prosperity, and happiness, do you want to keep me around?
And I think that is a big thing because, yes.
If I'm not increasing your success, prosperity, and happiness, why do you want me around?
Yes.
So too many salespeople have this concept, and we've been taught this concept for many reasons, that I must convince you to take stuff that you don't need so I can make money for me and the company.
Yeah, that is powerful.
Well, why would anyone want to come back to you when they suddenly find out that you sold them something they don't need?
Yeah. And I'm just thinking of the whole Nokia case. I mean, they just went bust because they didn't fulfill the need of the customer any longer.
Yeah.
And that is why. And I think the customer is very powerful. They can actually close big businesses.
100%.
Yeah.
So what's I asked this question, what's the purpose of a business?
Yeah.
So most people say, when I ask that question, what's the purpose of a business? Most people say the purpose of a business is to make money.
Yes.
And I learned this from the guru of modern management, a guy called Peter Drucker. Drucker said this. He said, the goal of a business is to make money. He says the purpose of a business is to find and keep customers.
Yes.
And if you find and keep customers and have a good business model, you will make money.
Yes.
But if you only focus on money, you will do it at the expense of customers and your business.
That is very true. Yes.
So
yeah, that is a sustainable business model.
100%.
Yes.
My accountant taught me this. She said, Barry, I've learned this, that the most important part in business is follow-up.
Yeah.
Fortune's made in the follow-up. But you follow up with people that you sell to, and you make sure that they got value, and you make sure you give them more value, and you keep connected with them. How many times in our organizations do we have salespeople that close one deal and the person never hears from them again?
That's true.
I got my commission, I'm gone.
Yes.
And 2 years later, they hear someone bought their product, and they go, why didn't you buy from me? Dude, I can't even remember your name.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
You know, so for me, sales is one of the greatest professions in the world. But it's not only a profession for salespeople. We also, you and I are selling right now.
Yes.
But the way we're communicating, how we're selling to each other, we're selling on the camera, we're selling a message, everything sales.
Yes. Well, you by heart, you're a salesperson, and you actually selling yourself.
Yeah.
Because you are doing a lot of training about uncovering greatness. So how do you go about doing your training?
That's an interesting question. How do I go about doing my training? So I'm what's called an experiential trainer.
Okay.
I like to say I'm not a typical trainer. I don't work with manuals and PowerPoints. I don't lecture people. What I believe that education is. I think we've lost the essence of education. So education comes from the word educato.
Yes.
The Latin word educato, and educato comes from the word educe. And educe means to draw out, yeah?
Yes.
And I think what education has become is push in. So what we've created is this education model where we just throw information at people.
Yes.
And people are highly informed, but they know a lot of stuff, but they're not applying themselves.
But it's true that you say that, because more and more I also find that people are regurgitating without insight.
100%.
And so they just give back what they've taken in.
Yep.
Without actually looking at how does it make sense at all. And that
and with very little application.
Yes.
So if the concept of education comes from the concept of educe, it means to pull out.
Yes.
So my job as an educator, which is what I am as a teacher and a trainer, my job is to find out what exists inside of you and help you uncover it.
Yeah.
You know, I'll ask this simple question. Did Thomas Edison go to light bulb school?
He definitely didn't.
So where did it come from? Something. God gave him something inside of him that he had to think and pull it out to create something different. So we already have everything inside of us that we need. What we have to learn to do is we have to learn to get it out. The schooling system, this is my take. The schooling system has shifted that to push it in and push it in and push it in. And what we taught is the more informed you are and the more you know, the smarter you are. I don't know. What that means is the more
intelligent.
Well, I think we all have different levels of intelligence, and we all have different levels of abilities, and we all have different things that we can do. But we're all born with the brain. We can all think.
Yes.
We can all make decisions.
Yes.
What we have to do is learn how to think.
So tell us about your concept of the types of intelligence.
So I actually learned this from Robert Kiyosaki first time, and it comes from a guy called Buckminster Fuller. Essentially, when it comes to education, there's 4 types of intelligence. The first one is mental. Mental intelligence is the acquisition of information. So if you're going to play any game, you have to understand what the game is.
Yes.
So let's take it into soccer. So you're going to play soccer, and that's for African and for African viewers, football.
Yes.
So we're going to play football, and we've never played football. It'll be a good idea to understand what the game of football is. Yes. Where's it played? How's it played? What's it used? Who plays? Da 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 da. Because if we become more informed about football, then we know whether we want to play it or don't want to play it.
Yes.
So if you take that back into sales, become informed of what the game of sales is. If you are going to become a salesperson and you want to become a great salesperson, what is the expectation that you're meant to do?
Yes.
The second part is physical intelligence. It's the understanding of what needs to be done and the ability to be able to do it, and the decision that you can actually do that. So you understand the information pertaining to the game, and then you understand the physicality and the physical things that need to be done, and then you learn how to do the physical. So in soccer, if you're going to play soccer, you better be able to kick a soccer ball.
Yes.
If you can't kick a football, then you can't play the game. If you have 2 left feet, you're going to struggle. If you can't dribble, so you have to have some form of physical attribute.
Yes.
You know, I'm not a big proponent in life that you can do anything you want. I don't think you can. I think you can do anything you are destined to do, but not anything you want.
Yes.
You know, I'm never going to become an NBA basketball player.
Yes.
You know, I may be able to become a great NBA halftime orange carrier for the NBA if I want to get involved. But I'm not 6'8", and I can't, you know, dunk from. My physique is not built to do. So,
yes.
So those are the 2 key parts. Then the next part is now applying it.
Yes.
And I think that's a lot where our education system stops because we're not actually really taught at school to apply it.
Yes.
You're taught about it, you're informed about it, you're taught what to do. But the real hard stuff comes into application. So you decide you're going to play soccer, football, you're going to play football, you learn about the game, you start practicing, you get a coach, you go. You're going to get the first time when you ever play your first game, yes? Now you're going to have to apply it. So now you start applying it. And guess what? I don't know. I remember when I was at primary school and I was chosen for the football team for the very first time, and I wasn't the best player on the team, so I was stuck on the furthest wing, way far outside. You know the deal. If we put him out there, he still plays, but the ball may not get to him, so it's okay.
Yes, yes.
Well, the ball did get to me, and I'd been practicing stopping the ball all week. And when the ball came to me, it went straight through my legs.
Oh, dear.
Why? Because I didn't know about soccer? Because I couldn't play soccer? No, because in that moment, my emotions took over. I was so fearful of making a mistake, I made a mistake.
Yes.
Now, I could have quit soccer, or I could have got back up and done it again, and done it again.
Yes.
And then that invokes the next form of intelligence, which is emotional intelligence. The heat and pressure of emotion when you apply it, and you make mistakes, and it doesn't work, can you do it again and again and again and again? And then the fourth level of intelligence is spiritual intelligence. Something inside of us that decides to do something that's bigger than what we do, and something in our spirit, in our life force. You know, why do we teach? Why do you run the foundation?
Yes.
Probably not because it's the biggest money earner in the world, because something inside of your spirit says, I want to make a difference in the world. So when you connect all those things together, suddenly you operate at a much higher level. Yes. So you have to have all 4. But when you move from information and physicality into emotional intelligence, it's estimated that your opportunity for growth goes up 3 times. When you operate from your spirit, your opportunity for growth is infinite.
You
know, if I take that back to the simple game of sales, when you're driving through the middle of town and something says, look at that building, and you see a building and you see a company that you've never seen before, and something inside of your spirit says, stop, walk in and go speak to someone. Your little voice takes over mentally and says, no, I'll do it next week. Well, the ability to actually obey your emotions and get through the emotions and stop your car and park and walk in could change your life forever. Maybe it won't, but it could. And when I look back, every time I've obeyed me and my being, I've been able to look back and go, wow, look at those results.
Yes.
See what that created. I didn't have to do it. Sometimes it scared me, but it made me bigger. And so I think when you put those things together, that's what education really is. It's growing us as beings.
Yes.
You can learn how to do something, but how big are you going to become?
Yes. Yeah. Wow, that is really profound. And you also mentioned with staff this morning, our biggest hurdle is ourselves. Because that fear of failure, I think that plays a big role, is that, will I be good enough? Will I be able to do it? And how do we overcome that fear? And how do we take ourselves out of the way?
Yeah, so I think, you know, I've learned that in my life. I am my biggest enemy, and I am my biggest ally.
Also true. So
and you know that there's that old story of the 2 wolves.
Yes.
You have 2 wolves sitting on your shoulders.
Yes.
This wolf is the wolf of love, hate, joy, peace.
Yeah.
This wolf is the wolf of dishonesty, deceit, denial, anger.
Yes.
Well, which wolf's going to grow?
The one you feed.
The one you feed.
Yes.
And it's the same with our little voice.
Yes.
If you keep feeding the little voice that keeps pulling you out of it, the little voice of fear, the little voice, that's the one that's going to grow.
So you must physically speak to that little voice.
100%.
The negative one.
Yeah, so change is conscious. Change is not this miraculous like, oh, look, sometimes change happens like this. You know, I went from not being scared of flying to being in a plane accident to being scared of flying. It happened in a 2.5. I got on a plane. I was never scared of flying.
Yeah.
We hit some trees and we ended up landing, sliding down the yellow chutes, and I suddenly went, okay, I have a fear of flying. But generally life doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Like we create these fears based on our past conditioning, and then we allow those fears to take over. You know, the fear of public speaking, the fear of making a fool in front of yourself, the fear of, in sales, people saying no.
Yes.
Well, it's the conscious understanding of, that's the fear I have. Consciously, how do I get through it? So it's a conscious understanding. Oh, here comes my little voice again. What do you say? Shut up.
Yeah.
Stop. Go away. I don't want to listen to you. You're not going to sell me on why I'm not going to do it. Because this little voice is saying, hey, dude, I know you're scared, but suck it up and do it anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, but you know what? Shut up. Yes, because if you eventually listen to this one, this is the one that's going to get you going.
And you need to do it time and again.
100%.
Yes.
Because we are so conditioned that we have to break those habits.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
So it's that. It is that. It's that conscious. That's why personal development is a conscious understanding of who you are.
Yes.
Of what drives you forward and what holds you back. What are your fears? What are your anxieties? What are your and again, if you're getting the results you want in life, don't change it. If you're not.
Yes, yeah. No, but it comes back to being present, because if you're present at all times, at the moment, you will also realize what your fears are.
100%.
What your weaknesses are.
Yes.
And once you identify these, you can work on them, isn't that?
So my wife teaches that presence is the single most important human ability.
Yes.
And importantly, it's the ability to be present with yourself. Most people are absent. I mean, just walk through town.
Yes.
And you'll see how many people are absent. People walk across the road, nearly get run over. People walked in front of you in the shopping center. The biggest reason, this little thing we stick to our ears. It's created such an absence in life that we're not actually here. So I love what you say is, it all comes back to present. The more present you are with yourself, the more you will identify and acknowledge, oh, kak, here comes that little piece of anger.
Yes.
Go away. Oh, kak, here comes that negative little voice. Oh, kak, here comes...
Yes.
Stop. Yes. Go away. This is the one I want to listen to. And over time, that's how you get bigger and better.
Yeah. I don't think we have a lot of time left, but I quickly want to talk to you about leadership.
Yes.
I mean, being a leader or being in senior management or top management, there's a lot of pressure.
Yes.
And but I don't even want to say when you're in senior management, wherever you are in the workplace, because whether you have people reporting to you or whether you're a specialist, you're always a leader of self.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of pressure that gets put on people these days, and I think that is what's cause of a lot of mental issues as well.
Yeah.
As leaders, how do we show up in the workplace?
So it's a great question, because I have this belief and observation. You will only ever lead people as big as you are.
Tell us more about that.
So a lot of people try to lead people because they know things. So I have people that say, but I have a PhD. And I go, good. And?
Yes.
So there's this difference between the doing and the being.
That's a big difference.
So I watch people, they go off and they get an MBA. MBA is great.
Yes.
And they come back into an organization like yours and they get promoted. And they have this MBA, and then they get promoted in a team that maybe they're known to. And then they start telling those team what to do, and that team tells them, who are you? Just because you've got an MBA and you think you're smart now you think you can be my boss.
Yes.
So what that creates is emotion.
Yes.
And those people weren't equipped for the emotion. So now they struggle, and they create heat and pressure because we're not actually growing ourselves. So for me, the job... and I like what you say. For me, leadership is not a position and it's not a title. Leadership is an action, Patty.
Yes.
Right? Leadership is whether you are the newest person in a business, the lowest hierarchical structured person in the business, or the highest hierarchical structure. Leadership is an action.
Yes.
And leadership is the ability, first of all, to lead yourself, to do what you said you were going to do, and two, to lead other people. Management is a position.
Yes, also true. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so a lot of people mistake management with leadership.
Yes.
There are many leaders in the world that can't lead themselves out of their own flipping house.
Yes. Yeah.
Because they have a title.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yet, you know, in business, and I think I've had I've been very blessed that, one, I've been able to travel around the world, and two, I've met some amazing people. You know, some of the best leaders I find in business are the most seemingly inconsequential people. The tea lady that no one actually even know exists, who actually every single time she goes to the kitchen's clean, the tea's out, the guests come. That's leadership.
Yes.
The ability to do what I agree that I'm going to do to the best of my possible ability, so that it takes the burden off somebody else.
Yeah.
And then you meet those people and you find out about them, and you realize that in their home village, they're highly esteemed people that are making a difference. That's leadership.
Yes.
But for some reason, we've created this idea that leaders have a title.
Yes.
And because I have a title, I'm the leader. No, because you have a title, you have a title. You're in a hierarchical structure. Leadership is a learned skill. And I believe leadership is taken, it's not given.
Yes.
So you see something that needs to be done. By the mere fact, if I'm working here and I walk through here and I see that after this interview, we've left our cups behind. Well, I can sit and say, well, I'm not the tea lady. It's not my job. Or I can show leadership, pick them up, take them to the kitchen and put them away. Why? Because somebody might be bringing some guests through here, and leadership is, I don't want the next people to come in here to see this mess. It's not my job, but I'm going to lead and do something different. That's how I look at leadership. And so, come back to it. It's, are we under pressure? Well, whether we lead or not, we're under pressure.
Yes, wherever we are.
There's another constant. There's a constant in life, and that's change. There's another constant in life. It's called heat and pressure. When you're successful, there's heat and pressure. When you're not successful, there's heat and pressure. When you're married, there's heat and pressure. When you're not married, there's heat and pressure. When you have money, there's heat and pressure. When you don't have, there's always heat and pressure.
Yes.
The question is, how are you equipping yourself to handle that heat and pressure that will always come? And I believe that comes down to your values, your rules of behavior and existence, and in the terms that, what I call the context that you create, not the content.
So you like to use the terminology deliberate. Deliberately do what you want to do. And I sometimes think it's easier said than done.
Oh, yes.
Because as you mentioned this morning with staff as well, is you want to do things to make a difference, but the action is always a challenge. So how can we move ourselves to be deliberate in what we do to get what we want?
So I think the first thing is to understand what you want.
Okay.
When I ask people that question, I go, what do you want? Most people can't tell me. They can tell me what they don't want. But very few people actually can really solidify what they want. And I don't mean ambiguous statements like I want more money or I want success. What do they really want? What does success really mean?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'm very clear in my life what I want. What one is, I want to make a significant positive impact on the entrepreneurial and business landscape of Africa. How am I going to do that? In the next 10 years, our goal is to put 250,000 people through our programs. My goal is to build 10 trainers and teachers that do what I do.
Yes.
So you get it. It could be 100, it could be 1. It doesn't really matter. That's my goal. So I've become very clear on what that is and why I want to do that. Why do I want to do that? Because I want to create a legacy for the next people so that we can leave a change.
Yeah.
Most people can't go to that level of what I want. So the first thing is that understanding of what do I want, and when I know what I want, then I can follow the process of being deliberate to understand what needs to be done. Now there's no guarantee.
Yeah.
And when I embark on that plan to get what I want, when the things don't work that I thought they were going to work, I can change.
Yes.
When the things do work that I thought were going to work, I can do them again. I think we're in this world where people actually want a guarantee. I want that, but I want to be guaranteed of that before I do it.
Yes.
That's not how life works, is
work
it?
That way, yes.
It never works like that.
Yeah, many a times, because we're in the investment world and a client says, if you can give me a guarantee of 8 or 10%, then I'll take your product. But I mean, life doesn't work that way. Right.
No,
yes.
but the clever people that you have,
yes.
you know, in your business, have looked at it and gone, we can't guarantee you, but the probability is if this happens and this happens.
I want to just quickly go back to what you want and why. I think those two are interlinked.
Yeah.
That if you get that right, the how can be easy, or the path can be mapped out, because you know what you wanted and why you wanted.
100%.
And I agree with you. A lot of us, I mean, I have sometimes wondered, so what do I really want with my life? I mean, I need to retire next year, and I still think, now, what am I going to do? And I mean, it's some real things, because if you don't know what you want, it actually makes you anxious.
Yes.
And it gives you a lot of uncertainty. Because once you know what and why, it already gives you a sense of some certainty.
100%.
And that already brings the anxiety down. And that is really something that we, as human beings, need to constantly work on.
Yeah,
in that
you know, my belief is this: each one of us have been put on this planet with a reason.
Yes.
We're not here by accident. That's just me. We have a job to do.
Yes.
What is that job? Yes. And our job is to find that job and do it. But that's not what the world's teaching us.
Yes.
The world's teaching us that you have to do this, and this is what success is, and you have to go down this path. So I believe we do what we do because that's what we've been told we have to do.
Because the world defines success for us.
100%.
I see.
So now we start to find. So in your job, why are you coming to work every day?
Yes.
So when I ask that question, people say, well, I have to cover my expenses. No. That's, yes, you get paid and you cover your expenses.
Yes.
But why? If you do your job well, what difference are you going to make in the world? Where are you going to change people's lives? So the journey to actually use the vehicle to make a difference.
Yes.
And so over time, can we find our purpose? What's our purpose on this planet? I'm very blessed. I know my purpose. I'm very clear on my purpose. But Buckminster Fuller said this. He said, if you never find your purpose, and you can't quantify your purpose, but everything you do is for the greater good of more people than just you,
yes,
be rest assured you're on purpose.
Wow.
But in this world today,
yes,
I believe that we've pulled it down to I am the most important thing,
yes,
and if I don't get, no one else must get. And I just love that, because if everything I do is for the greater good of more than me,
yes,
then I'm on purpose.
That is profound to actually close this conversation, that if we're out there to do for more than just myself, then we are on the right track of actually finding our purpose if we haven't found it.
100%.
So that is wonderful. We're really looking forward to have you with us for the next 2 days.
I am excited as well.
Sales journey where
very
we're
excited.
uncovering our greatness. So we're looking forward to that. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Patty.
Yes.
And here is a little gift from me.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
And I look forward to your feedback.
Yes, we'll do that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.